So I'm going to start with, again, choose the right knife for the right task. So I have a boning knife, a chef knife, always helpful, and then a paring knife. But this is really the one I'm going to be using most of the time. So I'm going to take, I keep the chicken on ice. So make sure that always the chicken kept on ice. And then you have a towel. And that towel doesn't touch anything but the chicken, okay? So chicken, when you buy it from the store, always has substance here, almost they call it a diaper. That's to take all the moisture out. And of course, you're paying for all the weight. And sometimes it comes with the neck, two hearts, sometimes whole liver, God knows what. And sometimes I'm not able to use them. So it ends up being thrown away. So I'm going to start, and I can tell you, there's so many methods of deboning chicken. I'm not saying my method is the best way, but it's efficient, and also it goes by the book. So I'm starting here by taking the wings. So separating, I'm cutting between the joint. When you see the knife is not cutting, that means you are cutting on the bones. So you can maneuver and get them in the right way. So now I'm going to separate the legs, just cutting this membrane right here. If I want to keep the skin on, then I try to keep it, intact. So here we are. Now we're going to separate the legs from the breast. Again, keep your hands always dry. You don't want to slip. I'm going to push this down just to stabilize a little bit. And then I'm going to go right. There is a separation right here. So you're going to just make a light incision right there. Okay. You notice that I'm using the tip of my knife right here. And again, always your knife toward the bone. Make sure you see your finger. And then there is a wishbone right here. Sometimes the way they package the chicken, it breaks down. So watch your finger. I'm going to cut right on top of it here. Maneuver the chicken a little bit, and I'm going to cut between the joint. And that will give me a chicken breast, skin on, or what we call it, the airline breast. And that's in the commercial terms. So I'm going to take this one here. Again, I'm going to hold the knife again. That means you need to keep your hands dry. Again, simple incision right on the top of the wishbone. Unfortunately, with the white meat, you don't want to pull and push. Just you got to be gentle. Otherwise, you will tear it. And this is the second breast. Okay. I'm going to put the bone away because this is how I'm going to make my stock. So the good stock is made with a good bone and necks out of the carcass because have a lot of gelatinous in it. So it's really flavorful. So now, if you look down here, you will see what we call it the chicken tender. Okay. So if the chicken breast is rather big, then you can take the tender out and use it for different things. Unfortunately, sometimes the tender has that little piece of silver skin. See right here? And we leave it all the time because it's a little bit chewy and this might be a labor intense that you clean it. But it's a good idea, again, taking that part out right here. See this? You don't want to bite on that silver skin, okay? And you can use it for something else. Yeah, if you are looking for the nugget in the chicken, does not have a nugget, okay? That nugget thing is made up. Anything chopped and shaped into a little square, that becomes your nugget. So if I'm going to take this and serve it, I want to cook it at home or in a restaurant, I'm trying to make it a little bit fancier. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to French the wing bone. When we say French wing bone, that means you clean it. So I'm going to use my towel and I'm going to just pull on that piece of meat right here. And I can use it also, so it's not going to be thrown away. And you'll see here, this is how you're going to cook it. It's just show a little bit of the skill that you can take with you to the job, or if you want to impress your guests. So this is one here. You guys want to show you one more time, yeah? Again, right here, until it hits the bone, okay? Rotate here, okay. And this time I'm not going to use a towel so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm using this here to pull. So I'm pulling this here. Here we are. Again, I can use this for something else. And then here's, again, French airline breast. I'm sorry. Okay. Any question so far before we go into the other side of the check? Any question? So let's go on with the.
Sorry, Chef, do you prefer questions to come in by voice or through the chat feature?
No, you actually can talk to me. I can hear you.
Okay.
So I don't have to spend time reading because I was looking at other stuff when I'm talking to you.
Sure. I had two quick questions. One, when you took the breast off, can you say, I've often run into issues with running into the ribs. Can you say a little bit about working around the ribs?
Well, when you say run into the ribs, that means right here and this part?
As I come down sort of the breastbone, the sternum, and I'm slicing the ribs off to the sides, I find that as I'm coming down that breastbone, I often wind up getting my knife caught in the ribs and cutting ribs off with the breast meat or things like that. Is there a good way to avoid ribs?
The best way that you go with the bone structure, again, and use the tip of your knife and make a small stroke. You don't have to go all in a large stroke, just a small stroke at a time, and that will help you to go around the carcass.
Okay, thank you. Second quick question, when we're doing the breast and you kept the wing bone attached and you Frenched it, which was cool, I haven't seen that before. Is there a particular benefit to keeping that wing bone attached? And at what point do we remove the wing bone before it goes to the person's plate?
No, it doesn't. Your presentation will be the bone in. So it gives you a little height. And also, sometime when you eat the chicken and you reach that part right here, which is all these connective tissues and the blood clots, so it would be a good idea that you can make an incision right there. So it will cook everything evenly. So you don't see that pinkish of color once you finish the cooking. So you're exposing those blood clots into the heat. So you won't see it in a pink color anymore. So the Frenching, it's all about your presentation. You're trying to make it a little bit better than the one you eat at home. Have a little bit more technique into it.
That's cool. I like that.
Thank you. All right. I want to work on the legs and thighs. And there is also one piece right here in the hip socket. We call it the oyster because it's shaped like an oyster. So I'm going to just pull that back and then take my thumb and push down. And I don't know if you guys can see that close up. So this is the hip socket. So I'm taking that piece called the oyster, and I'm using the back of my knife right here and cut. Again, for dark meat, you can push and pull. And this is the part I took out of the hip socket. I don't know if you guys can see. It's about an ounce and a half of meat. So instead of have it go into the stock, you can use it as a part of the protein intake. Okay, so this is one. Again, dry my hand, and we'll go into next. Again, fold back. This is the hip socket right here, and you take in that part right here, which called the oyster. And again, it's about an ounce and a quarter of meat. And I'm going to take the back of my knife, see here, and push and pull. This is going to go into your stock. But before you take it to stock, make sure that you don't have that fat going in there. We always say, oh, for example, that fat will add flavor. Well, yes, it will add flavor of the fat. So this is right here. Now we are going to debone the legs and thighs, or we can debone part of it. So I will take, again, use the back of your knife right here. It gives you much better leverage and then I'm going to peel. So I'm going to peel the bone out of the thigh. Here we are, and we'll cut
Chef?
it. Yeah.
When you were saying you use the back of the knife in that point, at that step, it looked like you were using the blade part, the cutting part. So I was wondering if you could clarify that. Was that about gripping it, or what you're using?
No, if I use, I will show you on my next leg here why I'm using the back of my knife right here to scrape off the bone. I will go one more time here. So I'm using the back of my knife. Why I'm using the back of my knife? I have more control with uncontrollable piece of meat that if I use the tip, it becomes a little flimsy, and then it might cut me. So it's easier to use.
By back of knife, he means base, not tip.
Yeah. So you have more.
That's what I was just realizing.
He doesn't mean the back of the blade. He means the base, not the tip.
That's what I just realized. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not using the handle. No, I'm using the back of the blade right here. Okay. So that's giving me more security in terms of how I'm handling a piece that's a little bit flimsy on the board.
Got it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Now going back here and peeling. So you can separate the thighs from the legs, of course, and peel, or you can do both. It depends on how you're going to use it. That's again going to go into the stock. So you got to make sure there is not too much meat that you're taking out. And then this, for example, I can put a stuffing. I can take a secure, just whatever you have in there, then you will secure them, and then you can roast it as such. So you can put a mushroom, sausage, whatever you like, inside that cavity. Also, sometimes I want it to look better, because right now it's just deboning this. So I'm going to French the legs itself. And that's why a good idea to have your chef knife with you. So I'm going to go here and give it a whack. So that will cut it straight. You don't want any fragment of bone going in there. And then I'm going to take my towel and I'm going to push it down right here. So that will be French in the legs. So it will take a different shape. Of course, you have the filling, and then you can roast it and you can slice it as such. Any question? So this is also a field aid here. If you decide to debone the whole chicken, including the legs, unfortunately, sometimes there's lots of connective tissues right here, but you still can debone and just go underneath here, and insert your knife under, and then take this out, cut. And then this is completely deboned. And like I said, you can flatten them, you can put stuffing, and then you can roll them, tie them, and roast them, and then you can slice them. Is here with the stock. Put this here, here. Any questions so far? Okay. Now we're gonna play a little bit with the wings. Of course, the wings nowadays, you used to get them for free, but nowadays they are actually more expensive than the chicken itself because the demand is higher. So if I'm making the wings for a party or an event and I want to make it look fancy, so I'm going to take the tip of the wing off. So I'm going to just cut here, and then I'm going to pull, again, using my towel, pulling this down, and I'm pushing this right here, taking the small bone out, it's here, and then separate the tip from the rest. And that's become almost like a lollipop. So you can serve that in an event. Also, you can stuff them. You can put some crab meat or whatever, and you can bake them, or you can actually fry them also. So instead of having a toothpick, people can just use the large bone as a handle.
And that's essentially Frenching it also, right?
Yeah, that's Frenching. So I'm gonna do one more time. So I'm gonna cut right here. Just when it stops right here with the bone. So I'm gonna, again, take the towel because it's slippery. Push him down. Take the small bone out. Cut. And here we go. Again, you can use that for, parties. It's fun. And even fun for you to work with something else rather than just chicken floured and thrown in the deep fryer. And of course, you will put your favorite sauce into it, which is, I assume, sriracha. The tips can be really rich to use for the stock. So we're going to add those in here. So I'm going to show you also how to roast the chicken in the fastest way possible, and also exposing the skin to the heat so it becomes nice and crisp. In the meantime, we're going to go into the next chicken right here. And this chicken, I'm going to prepare it to roast. Okay. Again, buying chicken is very important. Make sure when you buy the chicken, do not leave it in the refrigerator for 2-3 days. It's really a good idea to use the same day that you buy, because sometimes it's probably been on a shelf for a long period of time, and then it sits 3 more days in your refrigerator. Of course, it's not going to taste great. So this time, I'm going to prepare to roast them. I'm going to cut them. I'm going to cut the backbone off. So I'm going to go right here and right here. So I'm taking this part off, okay, right here. And I can use that actually for my stock also. So this is good to make a stock. And then just give the middle here is a whack, and that will expose this right here. And now it's flat. I'm going to put the wings in the back here. So we don't have to get it overcooked. And I can season it. I will have a rack. We'll get the chicken right here. Salt, pepper, olive oil, and it goes into the oven, maybe about 375 for about 45 minutes. It will get you really nice crispy skin. So you expedite in the cooking process, number one. Number two, you're getting all that crispiness on the skin, and that's the one you're always looking for. You can add seasoning into it, and also you can add some seasoning under the skin. So you can actually pull that skin and add some seasoning underneath here. I always prefer fresh herbs rather than using dried herbs. And then it goes right into the oven. Any question?
Quick question, that technique of cutting the spine out and flattening it, is that spatchcock? Or is there a name for that?
No, it's just to take a chicken and cut it. You can also use the scissor to cut that back. I mean, some chefs, they like to use the scissor, but I'm not a seamster, so I always use my knife.